everyone, my name is Teacher Meizel, and today I'm going to report about my topic, Correspondence Education in New Zealand. Welcome to New Zealand!
Hello, Dr. Cortes and classmates, how are you? This is our subject description, Comparative Education, Education 613. So my topic is about correspondence education in New Zealand. So this is what New Zealand looks like. So even if, at this moment we are having COVID-19, so even now we can start imagining our next journey. So maybe we'll go, and maybe one day we can go to New Zealand. So these are the 10 fun facts about New Zealand. First, it is an island nation, or is it an island country in the southwestern Pacific Ocean. So around 1/3 of the country is protected in national parkland and marine reserves. So you can see here in the map, New Zealand is divided into South and North Island. So the green ones here, it's almost like 78.21% of New Zealand's landmass is uninhabited because they are surrounded with like forests, like trees. So that's why most of its places is for marine reserves and for protected national parkland. And also in New Zealand there are no snakes. If you are scared of snakes, then New Zealand is the country to go, because there, even if they are surrounded with a lot of forest, but there you cannot see a single snake. Also, there are 50 volcanic cones in and around Auckland. This is the largest city of New Zealand, but most of them are extinct or they're already dead. Also in New Zealand is the world's steepest street is in Dunedin, also called Baldwin Street. And number 6, the first person to climb Mount Everest was a New Zealander from New Zealand, and his name is Sir Edmund Hillary, and it was in 1953. Also, in New Zealand was the first country to grant women the right to vote in 1893. And also there are 9 sheep for each person in New Zealand, making it the highest ration in the world. Can you imagine a country like each person should have 9 sheep? Also, the organized bungee jumping originated in New Zealand. More than 100,000 visitors to go there to jump each year. And also in New Zealand, it is a place where the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit films were taken because of its surreal surrounding, like so beautiful. So again, this is just short pictures of the bungee jumping, the Lord of the Rings, and this is the steepest street. And also, like, there's so many sheep. So here, look at most of New Zealand's place is like this, very nice in terms of nature, right? And also New Zealand was the first country to allow women to vote. And then, now is my topic. What is correspondence education? According to the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools Commission on Colleges, correspondence education is a formal educational process under which the institution provides instructional materials by mail or electronic transmission. Here also they will send the examinations or other materials that the students may need. And also in correspondence education, interaction between the instructor and the student is very limited. It is not regular and substantive, or it's not essential. And usually it's initiated by the students. And of course, the correspondence education is typically self pace, like it depends on how the student progress. How will the student do it by her own? Is he or she a fast learner or a slow learner? Depending on how they manage to finish the course. And there are 3 things that I learned about New Zealand, or just the distance education. Distance education is also called distance learning. Distance learning or e-learning, sometimes it's called virtual learning or e-learning, is a type of education wherein it educates students who may not be always physically present at school. No, sorry, it's an education for students who may not be always physically present at school. So no need for them to go to school. So distance education can be done through traditionally correspondence, where they send their materials, their tests through mail, via post. But now it's not really, we don't really use post office, right? Usually it's online education. And a distance learning can be, distance learning programs can be completely distance learning, or it could be both, hybrid or blended combination of distance learning and traditional classroom setting. And also distance learning can also be called massive open online courses, where it will take a large scale of learners, be like through internet, stuff like that. And how ready is New Zealand for online education? So New Zealand has a long history of distance education with a correspondence school, now known as Tikura. It was being established in 1922. Children and young people have been taught in New Zealand curriculum through a range of media. So you can, if you want to read about this, you can go to this link that I attached. So New Zealand curriculum range of media includes sending learning activities through mail, lesson broadcast through the radio and television, and video conferencing like Skyping, face-to-face. It started in 1990, and now online programs since 2000. So we can really say that New Zealand education system is well placed for transition from classroom setting to distance setting, or even to like online, where there's no need for face-to-face to teachers, face-to-face between teacher and student. So another 3 facts that I learned from researching about New Zealand is that in New Zealand, teachers are autonomous in their teaching. So many years ago, they are already expected to adapt their teaching and the curriculum to meet the learning needs of the students they teach. This differs to other countries where teachers are told what to teach and how. So this experience in teaching flexibility has gained recognition internationally. So teachers, they have the right, or they have given like the authority to do what they want. So it prepares young people well for the future and will help teachers to adapt to online or distance ways of teaching. And number 2, New Zealand students are encouraged to develop autonomy in their learning. So not only the teacher, but also the students. So they are expected to follow the curriculum by self-management. So they have to be really disciplined, and there's responsible enough to do whatever the curriculum is or whatever they have to do. So they should be experienced in setting goals and taking responsibility for engaging learning activities. It means that they know they can be learning even though a teacher is not in the same room as them. So they are already they are expected to do by its own. So sometimes the parents can help them do their project. It's also will depend on the progress of the students, will also depend if they have access to internet, if the parents can help them. So there's always in everything there's always good and there's always bad, right? So that's it. And also in New Zealand, education system has a history of being innovative and adaptable in distant education. So to conclude that, in New Zealand, they are really ready, even with the COVID-19. So they are already ready and equipped to do online distant learning. So that's the end of my report. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you gained something. And that's my references. Goodbye, and thank you. Have a nice day.